Okay, so Gabbie Hanna is back at it again with more books and more music, and I'm here to talk about it. So, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about Gabbie Hanna and her new collection Dandelion. So, let's get into it. So, on the 17th of April, Gabbie Hanna posted a video called Time to Talk About My Bad Poetry, and it ended up in my recommended. And I was quite excited about this because my little gullible self thought that this was actually going to be a real serious conversation about her book Adolescence. But to my dismay, the first 10 minutes was actually just a promo ad for her new upcoming books and music. So after the first 10 minutes, we start getting into her actual response of people's poetry. And I'm going to make a separate video about her response and what I think about that. But for today, we're just going to talk about the Dandelion collection and my opinions and thoughts on that. So let's get into it. So this Dandelion collection consists of a single, an animated music video, and then 3 different editions of books. I really want to talk about and focus on these books because it's kind of weird the way it's set out, because technically it's the same book, it's just 3 different editions and there's some extra parts and extra content in each one, but it's still the same book. So she explains in a YouTube video that certain stores wanted exclusives, so that means that certain stores wanted books that will only be sold in their store, and I guess it's kind of interesting and cool to do it that way, but it's also a really weird setup and can look a bit like a cash grab, I think. But yeah, so let's start with the first book. It's the primary edition and it has exclusive memoir style essays. So if you'd like to read essays about her life and that sort of thing, then I guess this is a good book for you. But yeah, then the next one is the Barnes & Noble edition, which has letters to strangers. Now this is a really weird concept to me, because she said in her video that she basically has feelings towards strangers, like people who she doesn't even meet. She has feelings towards them and things that she wants to say to them, and so she writes letters to them, which, I mean, look, art is subjective and you get to choose. You can write about whatever you want to, but so I don't know, these letters could be interesting. Out of all 3 of these books, this is probably the most interesting one to me because it's an interesting concept, I think, but it depends how it's executed. Then the last edition is sold at Target and it has bonus illustrations and handwritten unreleased lyrics. Now, I don't know what lyrics these are, as in if they're unreleased songs that are not going to be released, and so they're just kind of like lyrics, ideas or whatever, or if they're like songs, lyrics for her new EP, which, yeah. And bonus illustrations, I guess if you like to color in and you like that sort of thing, and you like drawing and if you like illustrations, then this is probably what you want. But the problem still persists that it's just a really odd setup, and if you're a fan, you're probably going to end up wanting all of these. You're going to want all of the content in all of the books, which means you're going to have to buy all 3. Meanwhile, they're the same book. So that's just kind of problematic, I think.
Click the link below, pick your edition, choose one or the other, collect them all. It's totally up to your preference, and I'm so excited to be able to offer so much additional content. Also,
there's also no way to buy the extra content without buying the whole book again. So there's no way to just buy the letters to strangers or the exclusive memoir essays and stuff like that, or the drawings. There's no way to buy that stuff on its own. So that means you have to buy all 3 of the books. So the first book costs $17.99. The Barnes & Noble edition is at a 10% discount, so it costs $16.19. And then the Target edition is $14.39. So what it means is if you want all of the content and all of the books, you have to pay $48.57. So compared to other bestsellers books, technically her price of her books is pretty much in the middle, bestsellers usually go from probably $8 to $30. And so one of her books is about $18, and that's really slap bang in the middle, and I think that's fair. The only problem comes in with the fact that there are different editions, so you have to pay pretty much $50 if you want the whole set, which, considering it's the same book and you're just getting a little bit of extra content, is that fair? I don't really know. So the price in itself is its own problem, but now I'm going to move on to some stuff that kind of draws parallels to her previous poetry book and the problems that could possibly arise from this situation. Currently these books are on pre-order and they're only going to come out on October 13th, which means we are about 7 months early, which I don't know if that's normal for pre-ordered books, but it feels really early to me. Like, I would understand like 5, even maybe 6 months, but 7 months just feels a lot. I don't know if that really is. Let me know in the comments below if you know what the average time books are on pre-order for. But yeah. So if you do order the pre-order, you get a free coloring activity book with it, which is great, except you actually have to print it yourself.
Printable PDF of a coloring book and activity page. It's very fun. The original plan was to send one out, a physical copy, to everybody. It's just not possible. So the next best thing I can do is send everybody a PDF that they can print from their printer at home. I'm gonna put.
So she said she originally wanted to send a physical copy out of the coloring activity book, which would have been cool, I guess. Like if you pre-order and then you get a free coloring book with it, that's kind of a cool idea. But now with the situation in the world right now, she cannot print copies of the coloring book, which means she's just going to send PDFs out and you have to print it yourself, which I guess is second best option. But the PDFs aren't ready. So if you pre-order right now, you're not going to get the PDF right now because they aren't organized. And this is why the pre-order for 7 months is a problem, because surely, like in my mind, if they're pre-ordering for 7 months, wouldn't they be able to just push it like a month further, as it's like, so it's like pre-order for 6 months and then they can actually send the PDFs out at the time of pre-order? I don't know if that's just me. I also understand that she probably has contracts and dates of times and things that need to be released. But it is just annoying, especially considering that she has admitted herself that the previous book was rushed, and that's why the content in it wasn't that good, because it was rushed and people could see in that book that it was rushed. This is the first sign that this book is also potentially kind of rushed, and that doesn't mean that all of the content is rushed, because we haven't seen the content of the book, but it just means that the setup of it feels like it's being rushed because they haven't printed the coloring book in time, and now they're going to send PDFs and they're not ready to send PDFs. So it's a potential problem that could become bigger with the release of this actual book. So even though the pre-order situation might not be her fault, it is still her problem, and it's setting a standard already for this book that they're not ready to just send out everything that they wanted to do. It's not ready yet, and yet they're putting it on pre-order even though they're not ready, which is kind of just sad, I think. In her video, she also announced that there are going to be prizes to win. So you can win signed posters or signed prints of her paintings, or you can even win downloads of unreleased music, which I think is a good idea, but she can just still build so much from her music. Like, there's still so much further she could go with actually like creating albums, and really like years down the line, I think that's something cool to do years down the line. When you're a big like music artist, when you release music that's unreleased, people will really appreciate it and be really excited about it. But if you're kind of smaller, like she is still now quite small, she's still doing EPs and stuff like that, it's not that cool to me. okay? Again, just my opinion. It's not that cool to me. But I also understand if you're a fan, this is going to be way more exciting to you, and I'm not really a fan. So, I mean, I used to be a fan actually, but it's just now not so much. But yeah, so I guess if you're a fan, you're going to like this way more. But I'm just trying to say that I think it would be a lot more cool if she would have waited until she's like way bigger than what she is right now. And then once you're like really big and people like you because of your music. Right now, a lot of people like her because of her YouTube channel, and her music fans, I think, are mostly because they watch her on YouTube. So now they watch her they like her music, or they listen to her music. But she needs to get to a point where people know her from her music, not only from her channel. And once she gets to that point, that's when you start releasing unreleased songs and stuff, at least in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, so don't hate it. So to sum up this whole situation, she's just kind of put us in a really awkward position where we have to buy $50 worth of 3 books that are pretty much the same, but they have just a little bit of extra content, and that's kind of annoying to me and kind of feels a little bit like a cash grab, unfortunately. I'm all for artists doing their own thing and trying new things, and like this situation, trying to do 3 different books and making it all like have different exclusive stuff in it. But I really think you have to think before you do it, and you have to think, is this going to look like I'm trying to get money and trying to make my fans buy all of these 3 different books? Is it going to look like that? Because if it is, maybe be a little bit more hesitant to do something like that. But yeah, yet again, it's her choice, it's her opinion, and she has the right to do what she wants, and I respect it. I respect her. I can imagine that putting out poetry and music and really sharing your opinions and your soul like that would be hard and would be nerve-wracking. So I respect it, but I'm interested to see if I actually like it. I didn't particularly like Adult Lessons, so I'm interested to see if this book is actually any different from Adult Lessons. So I'm waiting to see, but I will not be buying the pre-order because I can't be asked. So yeah, anyways. So I hope I updated you and informed you on the situation and made you potentially think about the situation, what you guys think. And if you have opinions or any thoughts, please leave them in the comments below, but please remember to be kind and not hateful in the comments. Yeah, and I'll see you soon.